In this video, I will talk about speed, velocity, accelerations and distance traveled in time t. So I am going to talk about what is the difference between speed and velocity, what is acceleration and how does it affect the magnitude of velocity. I am going to talk about linear acceleration here. Distance traveled in time t, what is gravitational pull, and we are also going to do some workout examples so that we are pretty clear on the concepts. So let's get started. First of all, understand speed. Speed can be calculated by distance traveled by time taken. So let's see an example. Here is a car. At 10:08, the milestone reads 50 kilometers. It keeps traveling. At 10:33, the car is here. It has traveled a fair distance and the road milestone says 85 kilometers. So that way if you look at, it has traveled 85 minus 50, 35 kilometers, and the time it has taken to travel that much is 25 minutes. 10:33 minus 10:08, or you can say 25 by 60 hours. So what will be the speed? The speed will be 35 by 25 by 60, that will give you speed in kilometer per hour, and that's what is coming out to be 35 into 60, this will go up, divided by 25, it's coming out 84 kilometer per hour, which means with this speed in 1 hour it will travel 84 kilometers. Common sense check. In 25 minutes it has traveled 35, so obviously in 30 minutes you can say it will go a little more than that, probably 40, more than 40, and then in 1 hour obviously more than that, and that's what is coming out, so you feel it's okay. Now let's understand some more stuff about speed. Speed is actually a scalar. It doesn't have any direction, and this will become very clear to you when I'm going to talk about speed versus velocity and going to give you some more examples. Let's do some workout example. If the speed is 50 km per hour, then how much time will be required to travel 75 kilometers? Keep in mind, the formula says speed equal to distance by time. Here you have the speed is given 50 kilometers per hour, distance is 75. So time will be distance by speed, which will give you 1.5 hours. And that's how it should happen. If 50 kilometers in 1 hour, so another half an hour it will travel 25, and that's what it will clear. Let's do second case. But before doing that, keep in mind there are many situations where you'll have to bring stuff in the same unit. Like if it is in kilometer per hour, then you have to bring everything in kilometer. Or otherwise, if everything is in meter, then bring everything into meter per second, then it will work out. So take an example. If the speed is 50 km per hour, then time required to travel 10,000 meters. Now 10,000 is obviously in meters, where this distance is given in kilometers. So first of all, convert 10,000 meters to kilometer. So speed equal to distance by time, that we know. Distance equal to 10,000 meters, or 10,000 by 1,000, it will give you in lieu of meter, it will give you in kilometer. So 10,000 meter equal to 10 kilometers. Now it is pretty clear, if you have to travel 10 kilometer and speed is 50, the time will be 10 by 50, 0.2 hour, which will be 12 minutes, because in 1 hour you have 60 minutes, so 0.2 minutes equal to 12 minutes. Now let's understand what is velocity. So velocity is the rate of change of position. If the initial position is p1 and the final position is p2 and the time taken is t, then p2 minus p1 by t will give you the magnitude of the velocity, as well as the p2 p1 the arrow connecting p1 to p2 will give you the direction. So let's see it by example. It's a vector that you need to keep in mind. So essentially, let's see an example. Here is a van, and this van Here the milestone says 85. In another 2 minutes it goes and it reaches here where the milestone reads 87. Now the question comes, what is the speed? So if you look at the van traveled 2 kilometers in 2 minutes. So you can say the speed is 1 kilometer per minute. So every minute it is traveling 1 kilometer. Now let's understand what is the velocity. Before that, just understand what is the direction of velocity. So the initial position is here, the final position is here. So the arrow will be shown by this kind of red arrow. This is the velocity is in the direction of this red arrow, because this is the initial point P1 and this is the final position P2. Let's continue it. So as I told, velocity is the rate of change of position. This was the initial position, this is the final position. Let's call it P1 and P2. Then red arrow is showing the direction, which is line connecting P1 to P2. And the magnitude will be given by P2 minus P1 by whatever time it is taken. If this distance, direction in this distance is actually just 200 meters, so you can say the car has traveled in this direction. Actually in 2 minutes it has traveled 200 meters in this direction. So in this direction the car, even though it traveled 2 kilometers, but in this direction it has traveled only by 200 meters. So 200 meter by 2, it will give you 100 meter per minute. That's the velocity in this direction. And that's a very important point. That's why I'm repeating it, in this direction. I will show you some cases like, or let's take in this case, if someone asks what is the velocity in this direction, given these 2 minutes, the velocity in this direction is actually 0, because total distance is actually in this only. It's a vector that you need to keep in mind, and it will become even more clear when I give you 2-3 more examples. So let's see some more example. So here a car is traveling. This is the magnitude of the velocity and this is the direction. This is another case where the car is traveling this way. Now take a look at both the cases. The speed is pretty much same, but not the velocity. Velocity is actually opposite. Here it is going this way and here it is going just opposite. Similarly, take a look here. This is the car which is traveling at 50 km per hour and it takes a turn, 90-degree turn on the road. Magnitude is same, 50-50, but the direction has changed. So even the speed is same, the velocity is not same. It has changed by 90-degree. Let me give you little more complicated example. So here is a case, and think of there is a car here, and the car travels in this bent road which is quite zigzag in nature, and let's say this is 120 kilometer distance in 1.5 hours. So this was the initial position of the car and it has reached here in 1.5 hours. So what is the speed here? 120 kilometers by 1.5, 80 kilometer per hour. Now let's understand the velocity in different directions. So if I ask you what is the velocity in the direction of this red arrow or orange arrow, take a look in how much the position had changed of the car in this direction. In this direction it has changed by 30 kilometers in 1.5 hours. So in this direction the velocity will be given by 30 kilometers by 1.5 hours. In this direction the velocity will be given by 40, because here to here it is 40 kilometer. 40 kilometer divided by 1.5 hours. And if someone asks you what is the velocity in the golden arrow direction, then this direction is actually, it has traveled 50 kilometers, which is like point to point distance kind of 50 kilometers in 1.5 hours. So velocity in the direction of golden arrow will be given by 50 divided by 1.5. So what you need to understand, velocity is a vector. It gives you magnitude as well as direction. And for one particular object, the velocity in a given direction is different and velocity in another direction can be quite different. Let's understand acceleration. Acceleration, like if you look at velocity was rate of change of position, acceleration is rate of change of velocity. So obviously acceleration also has directional component. It is given by vector v minus vector u divided by t. Here u is the initial or starting velocity, v is the final or terminal velocity, and t is the time that much has passed. So from u it became v in time t, so acceleration will be given by v minus u by t. Let's understand this case. In this situation, the magnitude is same but the direction has changed. This kind of acceleration is called angular acceleration, where magnitude is same but direction has changed. There can be second case where direction is same but magnitude has changed. So direction is same, it is 50 km per hour. It remains same 70, it's same in this direction only it's going. But look at magnitude, it became from 50 to 70 km. This kind of acceleration is called linear acceleration or tangential acceleration, where direction is same but the magnitude is changing. The focus of this particular video is actually linear acceleration. Here u, v and u are vector. This is the third case. Look at here, where the magnitude has changed from 50 to 70 as well as direction has changed. It was here and it is here. So this is an example where there is an angular component as well as linear component. However, as I told, the focus of this particular video is linear acceleration, where direction is same but magnitude changes. So let's understand some examples. So here is the car which is traveling at 50 km per hour. In 2 minutes time its speed changes to 70 km per hour. Now the question comes, what is the acceleration here? So acceleration, as I told, two components. Time taken 2 minutes, you can put in hour as 2 by 60 hours. How much the velocity has changed? Final velocity 70 km per hour. Initial velocity 50 km per hour. So acceleration is 70 minus 50 per kilometer per hour divided by 2 by 60 per hour. So it will become 600 kilometers per hour square. Why this hour square is coming? Because if you take a look here, it is kilometer by hour, and here also in denominator hour is coming. So that's why it is coming kilometer per hour square. What is the intuitive understanding of that? Intuitive understanding of that is, if you started with 50 kilometers per hour and the acceleration is 600 kilometer per hour square, which means the acceleration will change by 600 kilometer per hour whatever was the initial value. Which means if it is starting and if it continues for 1 hour, it started with 50 km per hour, at the end of the 1 hour the velocity will become 650 per kilometer per hour in this direction. The direction is same. If you think of when the magnitude is changing 600 km per hour, actually it means per minute it is changing by 10 km per hour. I will give you more, I'll make it more clear when I'll show one more example here. Let's take close look. So here is a car. Now I have put slightly different distance, 25 km per hour, and in 3 minutes if the acceleration remains same 600 km per hour square, then how much will be the velocity after 3 km? So let's calculate. Initial velocity 25 km per hour in this direction. The time taken is 3 minutes or 3 by 60. Acceleration equal to 600 km per hour. So if you recall, acceleration is called a equal to v minus u by t, or you can say v minus u equal to at, or you can say v equal to u plus at, and v equal to u plus at, a into star t or at is the same thing. V equal to u plus at is the formula by which we solve it. And how it is coming? Pretty simple. It's just you moving here and then u plus at gives you the v. Now let's apply it here. You started with 25, so u is 25. A is 600 km per hour. This is again we have converted minute into hours, so everything is in the same scale. 3 by 60. This will essentially give you 30. If you look at, actually if you put 1 by 60 and then 600, it gives you actually 10. Actually for every minute it will change by 10 km per hour. In 3 minutes, which is 3 by 60, it will change by 30. So that's how it is coming, 25 here, and 600 into 3 by 60 will give you actually 30. So that's how the speed after 3 minutes will become 55 km per hour. Now let's take a close look at this once again. And one more question comes, how much the car would have traveled in these 3 minutes? That's a very important question, that how much car would have traveled by this in 3 minutes time. So let's understand it better. So here the speed was 25, in 3 minutes it became 55. However, if you take a close look, as I explained in the beginning only, that every minute it is changing by 10. So if the question comes, what is the average velocity in the 3 minutes period? You know, as I told, by at, a by 160, so every minute it is changing by 10 km per hour. So the velocity, like, you know, after 1 minute was 35, after 2 minutes was 45, after 3 minutes was 55. So what you can say about the average velocity in this whole period, start to end? So starting it was moving by 25, ending it is moving by 55, and in reality every time it is moving by some different velocity. But what you can say still about the average velocity? The average velocity you can easily say is 25 plus 55 divided by 2. So starting magnitude plus ending magnitude divided by 2, that's what gives you average magnitude of the velocity. Formula wise, starting magnitude is u, ending magnitude is u plus at. That's what will give you 2u plus at divided by 2, or it will give you u plus half at. So that is the average velocity. So here if you ask 25 plus 55, what is the average velocity? It is 40. 25 plus 55 divided by 2, 40. So how much it will travel in 2 minutes time? So in 3 minutes time. So obviously you will say 120, but let's calculate it here. So ut plus half at square, 25 into 3 by 60 plus half into a is 600 divided by 3 by 60 square. That's what will give you 2 kilometers. So think of this way, a car which is traveling by 40 kilometers per hour, it means in 1 hour it will travel 40. So in 6 minutes it will travel 4 kilometers, and obviously half of the 3 minutes it will travel by 2 kilometers, and that's what is coming out here. Let's do an intuitive check. If there was no acceleration with the speed of 25 km per hour, it would have traveled how much? In 3 minutes it would have traveled 1.25 kilometer, right? And if the car was traveling just by 55 kilometers per hour, how much it would have traveled in 3 minutes? It would have traveled 55 into 3 by 60, so 2.75 kilometer. And if you take a look, actually 1.25 and 2.75, if you average, it is giving you 2 kilometers, and that's what is the coming as the magnitude. So ut plus half at square is the coming as the distance traveled, and that's what commonsensically also makes sense. Now this stuff, that s equal to ut plus half at square, is probably the second most important stuff in this whole stuff. The earlier was u plus at, that is the final velocity. Now let's do some workout example which will cement our learning. So before that, let's understand gravitational pull. Gravitational pull means it's actually vertically downward 9.8 meter per second. So essentially, if you drop a ball from a very high, in t minutes time, it will u plus at, u is 0 here, you are just dropping, not throwing. If you leave it for 10 seconds, the speed will become 9.8 into 10. So speed will become 98 meter per second. If you leave it for 11th minute, it will become 98 plus 9.8. And that's what it says, u plus at. That's what is gravitational acceleration. It's a vertically downward by 9.8 meter per second. So if the ball drops by 10 seconds, its velocity after 10 seconds will be how much? It will be 9.8 into 10, 98 meters. Now let me ask you, how much distance a ball will travel if you have dropped it for 10 seconds? Sorry, 10 minutes is wrong stuff here, 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, it will travel by ut, which is 0, into 10 plus half into 9.8 into 10 square, which is 490 meter. Now apply common sense. The initial velocity was 0, the final velocity is 98 in 10 seconds. So obviously on an average it has traveled by 49 meter per second. In 10 seconds, 49 into 10, 490. So it makes intuitive sense. Now let's do some cases which will give you even more clarity. So a ball is dropped from a height of 2 kilometers from a mountain cliff. Now the question comes, how much time it will take to travel to the base of the hill? And we are showing here x is in this direction, y is in this direction. So obviously any distance, anything in this direction will be shown as positive, upward will be shown as negative. So how much time it will take to travel? S here is 2 kilometers, so 2000 meter. U is 0, so you forget about this component, it will become 0, plus half into 9.8 into t square, which will mean 2000 into 2 divided by 9.8 will give you t square, and t equal to square root of 2000 into 2 divided by 9.8 is giving 20.20305 seconds. So a ball will take 20 seconds to come from a height of 2 kilometers. The complete distance it will travel in just 20 seconds. And how much will be the speed, will be the magnitude of the velocity while it is touching the ground? It will be u plus at, u is 0, 9.8 into t, 9.8 into this much, it will give you 197 meter per second. So while it is touching at that time, it is traveling 200 meter, approximately slightly less than 200 meter per second. That will be the speed when it is hitting the ground. Let's do a slightly complicated case which will give you even more clarity. So here the ball is actually thrown upward with a speed of 100 meter per second, which is quite a good speed. Now how much time it will take to stop upward journey? So you need to understand, first you sent upward, it has to stop upward journey because the gravitation is always pulling it down. So let's understand this. Essentially, till what time it will keep going up? Till that time the terminal velocity becomes 0. Till that time terminal velocity is, anything upward positive, negative, it will keep going up this way. We are showing this way positive and this way negative, this axis. So here 9.8 in this direction is being shown positive, here it is showing 100 in negative direction. So minus 100 plus 9.8 till the time the velocity has any negative component, obviously it will keep going in opposite direction. So when this equation becomes 0, the upward component, the magnitude becomes 0, and then obviously it will start journey downward. So terminal velocity is 0. So how much time the t1 will be taking to stop? Obviously close to 10 seconds. It will become 100 divided by 9.8, that's what will give you. It will take 10.20408 seconds to stop upward journey. And how much it would have traveled upward by this? That's the second question. How much it would have traveled upward? It is essentially minus 100 into 10. This is the upward journey. This plus 1, this is what is pulling it down. So half a t square. Just see that why the negative component is coming. Negative is showing the movement in this direction. So this is coming out at 510 meters. Think of this way. The initial velocity was 100. The terminal velocity is 0. So obviously it traveled, the average velocity upward is actually like 50. And because it traveled some 10.2 seconds, it have traveled 510 meters in this direction. Now the next question comes, how much time it will take to come down? So commonsensically it makes sense, because that's what it looks like. 100 here, upward 0, average speed is 100 plus 10, 100 plus 0 divided by 2, that gives you 50, and that's what is coming out here. Let's continue building on that. So if you think of this has gone upward, and it traveled by how much? It traveled by 510 meters. So what is the total downward journey that it has to do? It has to do 2000 plus 510, because it has gone 510 upward. So it has to travel total downward distance 2000 plus 510, and obviously when it is starting the downward journey, the initial velocity is 0. So then if you ask that time that it will take from here to come down to complete distance, that will be 22 seconds. Half 9.8 into t square. So 2000 plus 510, this is what is giving. This is giving you 22 seconds. And what will the magnitude of the velocity when the ball is about to touch the ground? It will be 9.8 into t. U is 0 when it is starting downward journey from here. So 9.8 into 22 this gives you 221 meter per second. That's what will be the speed while it is touching the ground. So keep in mind, when you just dropped it from 2 kilometer, it was 197 here. But when you sent upward, when it came down, its speed, its magnitude is more. Why? Because actually it went up. So it is as good as dropping not from 2000 meters, 2 kilometers. It is as good as dropping from 2.5 kilometers. I hope it made sense to you and you got good understanding of velocity, difference between velocity and speed, acceleration, how to work out and everything. Please subscribe to this channel so that you can get to know when I upload new videos. Hit like button if you have liked it. Also, I'll suggest you should leave your honest comment, because it will give you a good foundation for many more such videos. Thank you for watching.